Today I'll be demonstrating our research project, which is a web application, and it's a recipe nutrition calculator that's based on the FCT, the food composition tables. Here we're greeted with a login page, so we can put our credentials here. So, for example, my name, and then gmail.com, then 123. So over here, after you input your credentials, you can press the register button if you're a new user. But since I already registered this account, I can just press the login button. And now I'm greeted with an empty recipes list. You can see in the top navigation bar that I'm logged in. So here in the blank page, if you want to add a new recipe, you can press the add recipe button over here. Let's say I want to add spaghetti. This is a nice sample. Now that you have added a new recipe, you can either edit it by changing the name, for example, lasagna, and OK, and then it changes the name in the recipe. You can also choose to delete it, so you just press the delete button, press OK, and now the recipe list is empty again. Okay, just let me add this again, spaghetti, and then press OK. Next, what we can do is we could select the recipe that we've added onto the recipe list, and then we can start adding ingredients. So right now it's empty, but you can add new ingredients by pressing the add food item button. So this will prompt the search box over here. This is where you'll be able to navigate through all of the food items that are in the FCT. And you can search for it by typing in the search box. So for example, spaghetti has pasta. So I can type in pasta over here, and it narrows it down to 3 options. So macaroni, spaghetti, spaghetti boiled. I'm going to choose spaghetti boiled so that it's cooked already. And I can also add, let's say, hot dog, because that's also very common. I can also add tomato sauce. Okay, it's over here, and tomato paste as well. And let's say for now that's all of the ingredients that you're going to need. So now over here we have a table that's already filled out with all of the values. You can see that these are automatically calculated from the values that are present in the FCT, because as you know, the calculations are based on the proportions and they serve as percentages. We could see that in the quantity column, they're all 100 grams, but you can actually change those. So for example, I can turn it into 150 instead of 100 grams. You can see that this row over here changes in its values automatically, as well as the total, because it all adds up over here. You can also change it incrementally by pressing the up and down buttons over here. You can edit the other food items. And yeah, that's how this whole thing works. This is one of the most important feature of it. You can also choose to toggle it on and off to see how much one food item, or at least multiple food items, contribute to the overall nutrient composition of the recipe. You can also delete food items. So say for example, I add in corn. It's already up here. Let me add. So you know that corn isn't supposed to be in spaghetti, right? And so you can just press the delete button and it'll just disappear from the table. Next, you can also switch to the chart view. This is the table view over here. You will be presented with a nutrient distribution pie chart. This is where the toggle feature comes into play and where it's most useful, because you can toggle them on and off to see how much it changes the pie chart. So you can have a visual representation of how much one food item affects the whole distribution. So say for example, we can see that there's 18 grams of total fat in this whole recipe. Well, if you turn off the sausage over here, you can see that all that fat disappears. You can conclude that all that fat comes from this thing, or this is like a major factor to this distribution chart. And what you can do is you could also print out all of this information. You see this preview document. You'll see that all of the data will be laid out over here, kind of nutrients, the amount of grams, and then the percentages of how much they contribute to the whole recipe. And you can choose to print it over here. You just press the print button. So you can either print it or you can save it as a PDF. And you can press save and spaghetti. Yeah. And there's that. A question you might be asking is, why are there like no micronutrients over here? Because you can notice that most of them are macronutrients. Well, they're actually part of the database. It's already recorded in the back end of this website. It just so happens that we weren't able to program it yet for it to be displayed, because it wouldn't fit in this table over here. It would overflow and it wouldn't look good. But we'll be working on that in future updates. And we also plan to include it in the final printed document. And other things, we could also go to the FCT, which is the local copy of the website here. And you can see that all 1,542 food items are in this website. And you can also choose to log out. You can also log in as a guest. You can still use the website, but the recipes that you add in here will not be included in a registered account. It will only be registered into your browser. So it will be stored there and not in any account. Log out over here. That is all of the features in this web application. Thank you for listening. And yeah, that is all.